Welcome to the Healer Circle, where extraordinary healers share their personal journeys, wisdom, and how to heal yourself. My hope is that their insights, practical tips, and aha moments inspire and guide you in discovering your own spiritual gifts to reach your highest potential. Welcome, everyone, and welcome, Melissa, the amazing communicator. I'm so glad to have you here with us today.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I love the fact that you're doing something that I think every single kid would just want to do, the ones who have their pets, and not just a kid, but a lot of adults who are pet owners. And for myself, I have an 11-year-old right now, and through the years, I've noticed she is kind of tuning in with the animals. I don't think she knows how. She's just like when we were babysitting my friend's little chicks, and she noticed all the details. They were running around in our bathroom, and she figured out they all had their own personalities. Or when we're like travel, she's somehow, I don't know, I call her like an animal whisperer. But of course, getting any information from your own parent would be just ridiculous, right? Because parents don't know anything. So I was so grateful and the way you shared with my daughter how you do it and what you do. And even though she's like, no, I just do my own thing. And, I know she listened to every single word you said. And I was really hoping you could tell us, just wanted to show off. I'm wearing my daughter's shirt. It's a bit too small and tight, but, it's going with the theme.
I love it.
And I was hoping, could you tell our listeners, what is it that you do and what is it that your clients say you do?
Well, I connect through meditation to animals and telepathically speak with them. My clients just call me Dr. Dolittle. So.
I love it. That makes so much sense. No need to explain anything. It just, everybody knows what that means.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So could you tell a little bit to the listeners, maybe how you got onto this path?
Probably much like your daughter, an animal enthusiast from womb. My mother, the same. And I had many animals growing up. I was obsessed with horses. And so, that love and obsession grew and grew. And I showed horses, I showed dogs. I did all kinds of stuff until I went to college, and I got an important job, supposedly, and it all took me away from it. And it also made me become very unhappy and chase the dollar and fill the black hole that was in me with stuff that, money could buy. And guess what? Still wasn't happy. So I full circle went back to animals. I ended up with an injury when I was in corporate America, was out on disability. My team got laid off. So then I also had, severance package. So long story, I was off for a year. And when it came close to going back to work, I just couldn't fathom going back to an office. I just was like, I would rather almost do anything. So I ended up with a dog and my journey began. And because of him, I know I am a far happier person. I am a much better human. And it's just taken me down this path that I can almost cry over about how grateful I am to him.
Yeah. You that back, because what you shared, and I think I've seen this in so many cases, even with myself from early on, we already had like glimpses of like, hey, this is your path, this is what you're supposed to do, and then the life happens and like, no, but I'm supposed to do this. But sooner or later, and often unfortunately through crisis, my dad's death or my divorce or like you lose a job, these are all the blessings in disguise, because they're like, hey, you're not on your path. Wake up, do what you're supposed to do so you can have a happy life. And not only that, actually help others with that you have. So do you mind sharing, what is it that your clients, both humans and animals, get from the work you do?
Oh gosh, all kinds of information, and we never know what they're going to tell us. We never know what's going to come through. So it's always fascinating. It could be animals here or animals that have already passed over as well, and they provide. I mean, often their message is love and appreciation. Sometimes it's guidance and protection, which is very interesting. Um, Other times it's just them basically saying, I'm here, I hear you. It's me giving information to the client, like, this really is your animal talking to me. They, told me about how you guys went out this morning and you got coffee and you ran into the neighbor and, blah, blah, blah. So then after that, it kind of opens things up with the client, in terms of them like, oh, you really did talk to my animal. So,
So it's kind of like it's a proof from the animal to the owner, like, hey, she's not making up stuff. I'm real. It really is happening.
Exactly. And I've talked to them about behavioral issues. I've talked to them about physical pain, problems, things scaring them. Some people just want to know, is my dog happy? Is my cat, happy with this new place we're living in? Yeah, often it's for solving mysteries that, the owner can't quite figure out. But yeah.
Oh, this is amazing. I mean, for so many
Thank you.
people who are like, oh, what is my animal going through? Especially if you're saying there's something off and we don't know what it is. Maybe the doctors do, maybe they don't know what's going on. And to have
Correct.
form of communication, it's such a, I'm assuming, relief and help, and then they can do something about it once they have.
Yes. And yeah, sometimes, I usually do a medical scan too. And so sometimes things come up. I don't have an extensive, I'm not a veterinarian, but I was a veterinary technician for almost 10 years. So I have a lot of medical knowledge. And a lot of times I'll see areas of their body that are highlighted. And sometimes the owners know, or like, yeah, that's an old injury. Or sometimes they don't know. They take them then to the vet and like, oh yeah, my dog had an ear infection. Thank you. I didn't know. Yeah. So a good point about the medical side of things.
Yeah, it's so great you have that additional knowledge as well to better understand the information you're passing on. So again, that goes to show that when we're put onto the path, we've had some life experiences in the past that contribute to it. So it's really great. And again, this is the reason why you have that gift specifically to you, because you have so much to give.
Yeah.
Now, what would you tell if you could still go back? Because now I'm sure you figured out, oh, this is how it works. This is what I can do. This is what people can and animals can get out of it. But if you could tell something to a younger you, what would you advise yourself? Like, oh, well, you could have, you should have. Not that nothing's like everything's like it's supposed to be. But if you could just give a little tip to a younger you, what would it be?
Meditate more.
Yes.
I started meditating fairly young, 19. And my family did not meditate. They were not at all. Just because I happened to go to college and I picked up a book about Zen and it talked about meditation. And so I attempted what I thought meditation was. But I mean, I think if we can find a way to get our kids, and I think it's a really tough thing, into meditation for all kinds of reasons, right? You're a mom. Like that could be so beneficial, but that's what I wish I would have been helped to do at a younger age, just because it's getting to know yourself better, which is the most important relationship, right? And only now and later in my life am I like, oh my God, that's what's the most important relationship, not everything outside of me. So if we can start helping kids to build their inner world, to build a relationship with themselves, to treat themselves like their best friend, like they want to be treated. Like, I think that would be so beneficial. And I wished that would have happened for me. And I think that leads into everything else. And I think we all have the ability to connect to anything natural in our world through that means.
And as I'm talking to you, I'm realizing you might be one of the avenues to actually get kids into meditation, because you can say, hey, do you want to connect with your animal? So then it's not like, wait, you need to sit down and do the boring stuff that the adults do. It's like, more like, wait, if you do it in this way, you don't even tell them it's meditation. It's like, what do you know? I'm meditating naturally.
There you go. Don't call it meditation. I love it.
Don't call it meditation.
Just even for adults. Don't call it meditation.
Exactly. There's also active meditation, right? You do something that you love, and that is meditation as well.
Yes.
So, but now it's really fun to see your path, how, again, it pushed you when you were younger and you're like, no, this is not a thing. And then it comes back. What would you tell other people who are trying to figure out their path, their journey? They don't necessarily yet know if it is healing or talking to the animals or something else. Is this something that you find that would have been helpful? Obviously, meditation for sure. Yeah. Any other tips that, like, well, how do you figure out your thing?
I was told.
You were told? Yeah. Great. I
was told by a healer, light worker, if you will. And she told me many times, a couple people had told me, and I was like, yeah, I can talk to the animal. I mean, we all talk to the animals, I talk to the plants too. Like, I talk to everybody, I call them people and, but as a young person, my mom told me, talk to the plants. We had lots of houseplants. My mom loved houseplants. So I would go around and I'd, good morning, good night. I think, I lost track.
I was just wondering how it would help other people to get into finding out what it is that they do. But like you said, sometimes someone mentions something, and that's
yeah. I think following your excitement, following your joy. I think meditation, as we talked about it already, as your foundation for every day. And that gives you that connection with yourself to reflect on what's happened. It's great if you can do it twice a day, because then you get that, end of the day, you recap your day, you feel into what happened in your day and what clicked for you. So I think following your joy, anything that builds excitement, you feel like, I say go for it. Research it. Meditate on it. Is this what I want? Is this right for me? I think all of those things, I just happened to be told. So, and I was like, yeah, I already talked to animals, of course I do. But
the two things that I'm hearing, I think, is one is like, well, it's so obvious for me. Well, it's not obvious for everyone else, right? So you're noticing things that are easy for you.
Yes.
And then, like you said, the other thing, I love doing it. I could do it forever. Yes. And that's not in meditation. So I think you just hit the most important spots,
yes.
Important to hit it. So thank you for sharing it with your story. But what would you suggest to the people who, and I've met, they're like, I don't know, this whole world is kind of scary and creepy. And am I making this stuff up? But what would you tell them?
I would say, try and believe. Yeah. And what I have been told from my mentors is what comes up from you, within you, is accurate and correct.
Yes.
Period. Trust your body, trust your intuition, period. You may not in the moment be able to prove it.
Yes.
But it is yours to believe and to trust.
Absolutely. So true. Thank you.
And if you get information, that was the other bit, is if you get information that doesn't align, it just may not be right now. It may be right down the road. Things change. And not everything will be seen. So it still could be true and nobody sees it, kind of thing, or knows it.
Absolutely. So agree with it. And going from there, on your journey, what you now know currently, have you had these moments of okay, now I get it, aha moments that before you were just and it's oh, this is how it works? Anything that you want to share with people that helps them noticing their own ahas?
I think it's in doing that the ahas come up, and in the trying. So in the very beginning, I had no knowledge of how to do this. I just was told I could do this, and I used my intuition.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I think I need to meditate. And it was very quiet in the house. It was very early in the morning. I had boarding dogs. I used to own my own boarding, dog walking, daycare business. And so everybody was sleeping, which is just such a lovely time in the morning. And I meditated and I just got so much information. My eyes were as big as saucers. I was like, I don't even know what so I was like, it's okay. Write it down. So one important tip, when you do this work, when you come out, just like when you wake up from a dream, you write it down, because this place you go to receive this information is like a dream state. And just like in a dream, if you don't write it down as soon as you wake up, the further down the road in the day you get, the often murkier it becomes. So write down what these thoughts that are coming up, write down conversations you're having with yourself. Journaling is probably, it's the same stuff they tell you to do, but it really does work when your intention is to connect and to serve. I believe it will all come through.
So true. And I just wanted to add another piece to it, because like even this morning, there was so much information came through. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't even understand all of it. And then I jumped on a call with my sister, because they're like the ones who I process my information with. And
I bet it all became
and I understand it.
Yes.
But I also wanted to add, but if I'm not that fast of a writer, even type it on the computer if that's faster, or do a voice memo, but just
beautiful.
Right? Whatever form works for you, just use that and do it. Because you're right. It's like even like a half hour later or an hour later, you're like, wait, there was so much more, but I can't remember.
That has happened to me so many times. And I'm like, I'm sure I needed that piece of information and I can't remember. So I have different journals. I have I meet and talk to my spirit guides every day. And we usually have a dialogue, and I'm always upset if I don't write it down, because it's valuable information that I may not need right this moment, but yes, on down the day, I'm probably going to need it possibly tomorrow or a week from now. And I'll find myself flipping through and I'm like, so that confirmation that I have created for myself is priceless, and it just builds and builds and builds. So you just need to keep working towards that goal, even if you don't know exactly what the goal is. Creating that relationship with yourself, then with your spirit guides, who help guide your day, help bring your intentions to fruition for you, put you on the path of where you want to go. It's really invaluable, and you're gonna glean so much information that's going to improve your life. I can't even say how important it is to me and my daily practice.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. You share that with everybody, because it is so important and so valuable for yourself. Now, when you think back to where you originally started and what you know now, have there ever been any misconceptions of oh, I used to believe this to be true, and now I see it's like,
Well, what I will say, it's not so much what I used to think was, correct, and what I've realized isn't. It's more like the world of animal communication is just such an interesting, varied experience. Animals come through with accents, with very big personalities. Yes. Oh, accents, British accents, or I've had some with just New York personality, or, spicy girl, I don't care. They need to get out of bed. They need to feed me. I don't care what time it is. I'm hungry. Get up. Yes. They really, come across with a lot of some enthusiasm, and, they're just huge characters. Some are very, sort of soulful and deep, and give other information, which blows me away. That I don't, as you said, I don't even understand some of the stuff they say, and I just write it down. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. That's all my job is. I'm just, the conduit, the pipe, the information, and I just write it down. I give it to their people, and I'm like, I don't know if you understand this, because I don't. And I haven't yet had a time when someone was like, no, I don't understand it. So,
because you know how I watch movies, like in my mind from spirit and sources and everything. And as you're speaking about this, I can see it how when you're just like showing like the way the animals are communicating, I'm like, oh my God, if there's anybody there who does cartoons, please reach out to Melissa, make them live for kids to see the way the animals are communicating.
yes,
Cartoon, it's hilarious. Like the actions, what they say, it's so funny.
many comedians. So yes, many are silly and goofy and cracking jokes and, like tumbling like a clown or what. I mean, it's so interesting. It's almost a world I could just be in all the time because it's such a expansion of our world and the way we experience animals. You know what I mean? There's so much more, which, I mean, this is sort of a sidetrack, has led me to become vegan. How can I eat them? I have a conversation with them just like I'm talking to you.
Yes.
And I get to know them and they share who they are. They share, what they love. They share what they believe in, just like you are. I can't eat you.
Yeah.
How can I eat them?
That's interesting, right? Yeah. That's kind of
led me.
Yeah. So let me see some other things that I wanted to ask you. Have you ever had situations where like, oh, this whole thing is like, oh, it doesn't sound, I think the question is right. It's like never, because I'm like, have there ever been like tricky situations, like tough situations where like, I don't know if I can or should do this, but it sounds so fun that it's like, I can't even imagine you saying no to it. But if there is, do share.
I think so tricky. I've had people looking for lost animals, which is a very emotionally charged situation, which I have done a couple times, but it's emotional for me just the same. So it's hard. It's really hard. The one animal that I helped a good friend find, she did find, but the animal didn't want to be found.
Why is that?
So her house was too chaotic, too many animals, too many people, too crazy. The cat's like, I don't want to be there. And she doesn't have time for me. She has other cats. She's got other dogs. She's got kids. She's got, a job. It's like, I'm happier out here. How do you deliver that to the parent who adores this animal?
Right. It's like, you're not good enough parent. You can have, oops. Yeah.
So again, I go back to, I'm just the conduit. I'm just going to deliver the words as I receive them. So that's hard. Yeah. It's also, there hasn't been a situation where I haven't felt, the only situations I don't feel good about, I've had people ask me to read other people's animals, and I don't think that's ethical, and I won't do it. I said, well, I will read them absolutely as long as their guardian parent agrees.
Absolutely.
Just like a child, it's just a little invasive, right? So I'm very careful about that. But I haven't had to say no to anybody. Everybody, fortunately, that comes to me is, they're really beautiful souls themselves. They want to know what their pets are thinking. I mean, they're amazing people. In my book, like if you care enough to find out and you want to know, I think, yeah, you're an A star, in my book.
Fantastic. So are there any other tips? Because I just want to share as much as we can with other people who are on their journey and everything.
Sure.
Self-care related. I mean, you talk about meditation a lot, but still how do you ensure that in the process of giving and doing all this amazing work for everyone, how do you take care of yourself? Is it like something that you do, or do you also search from others to help you? How do you take care of yourself?
Yes. I believe, of course, in meditation daily for myself. I also regularly engage with energy healing. I like Reiki healing, and sometimes a little massage as I need it. But, spending time in nature every day, with my dogs, I am out doing and being, and I feel like I connect so much in nature already. And the interesting thing about doing this, and I think, if people are out there trying this, they should think about connecting with anything in nature. That's what I think. And that's what I have done. I've connected with trees. I've connected with plants. and, birds flying through the sky. Where I'm at here in San Francisco, we are fortunate to have a large community of hawks. So, I will meditate on my deck and connect with them and talk about the weather. And, you can see what's interesting. I have found also lost dogs from being a bird. So, you're a bird and you're looking down. And so I'll use them sort of like, I think it's called remote viewing. I don't really even know what it's called, but to look down and you can see what's happening, in San Francisco that day. What's the weather over on the beach? Yada, yada, yada. And I've also done that to find dogs running through the neighborhood. I'm like, go to this street, he's in the backyard. I don't know. It's really interesting. So self-care, I think getting into nature, back to your point, is very important for me on the daily. And then checking in with energy healing for me to release my blocks. So, when you've been traumatized and hurt, it can block your energy, and that can keep you from being fully receptive, fully open, and able to connect. So it's that quest of, I want to improve my skills. I want to be at the best I can be. And I think a daily mantra for me is, how can I be in service this day? For whomever's in front of me, whether it's a plant, a cat, a person. And the thing, back to the other thought I was kind of talking into, is this ability, and everybody has it. I don't know how much more I can stress. Everybody can do this. I am not special. I am special, and so are you. But we all are special, and we all can do this. So if you start on whatever excites you, animals excite me. Great, go towards that. But what I'm learning is I'm starting to be able to connect with other things and beings, and it's leading to all kinds of other interesting places. So now I follow those as well.
That's the thing that we can ultimately, I so agree with you. We can all do it if we just take the time to focus and heal and raise our frequency. And then we have more and more, like the same way. My main thing is seeing, but I can hear, feel, all those other things open up as well. But we still have like our special thing, and we add to it in different ways. But tell me then, before we wrap things up, so what is it that gets you up in the morning in the sense, yes, I want to keep, it inspires and motivates you to keep doing this, what you do? What is it? Is it the animals, or is it the people, or is it the fun of it? What is it?
All of it. Yes, all of it. I love animals. It's just part of who I am. That is in my DNA. Anything and everything having to do with an animal, I'm all about it. But I also love their people. They're connected. And, it's been interesting. I've been lately reading people. So I don't know if I'm reading the animal or the owner or the guardian. I don't know, or they're connected and I'm reading it all. But yes, it's all fascinating and interesting, and it thrills me. And I love to share this work with people because it transformed me, literally. And I think it can do the same for everybody. And if we can all learn just to put a little priority in this every day, we're going to be so much more connected and feel so much more whole, and then it will develop, and it's a beautiful thing. So any way I can get people to connect to themselves or their animals, I'm all for it. I love it.
I'm so grateful to do the work you do.
Thank you.
Excited for all the people. So happy that people who already have had a connection with you to get this blessing, or whatever you call it, the connection with their animals. And for all the people who are yet to learn about you and who will reach out to you, thank you so much for sharing your amazing gift, amazing you, who you are. And I hope that a lot of people find through you, or for whatever way of encouragement for themselves to go on their path, and at the same time reach out to you to connect with their animals. We'll definitely put under the video the link how to reach out to you. But do you want to just holler something out right now? What's an easier way? You can just mention it here too. Well,
right now I'm still working on my website, but it's Animalinsightsbymelissa, and you can certainly call me. we'll provide the phone number and all that good stuff. Text me. It's my main mode of work at this point. So I just love it. And
the important thing to mention, right? It doesn't have to be in person. So people who
No.
you from Italy or from who knows where on the
Yes.
planet, it's just for you guys find the time to do it. It can be done remotely. What
Yes.
is it you need from the people so they know?
Good question. A picture of their pet. It's great if the pet's looking at the camera with their eyes, obviously. But if not, just something. And then information about your household and how old is your pet, their name, how long have you had them, and who does your pet live with, like people and pets in the house.
So it doesn't even necessarily have to be a immediate one-on-one call. It's more like they send you the information, you
Correct.
channel the information, and then do you get on a call to communicate or in writing? How do you do that part?
Yeah, whatever they prefer, but my normal natural is just to do a phone call. Some people prefer Zoom. And I had one person want me to email it to them because they wanted to keep all the notes. And I was like, oh, it's brilliant. Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is amazing what you do, Melissa. I'm
Thank you
for you being here today, and looking forward to having more conversations with you in the future.
Yay. Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this Healer Circle journey. If you are a healer with valuable insights to share, we'd love to hear from you. As together, we can continue to inspire one another to greater heights. Till we meet again, I'm sending you love, light, and gratitude. Until next time.